So, 1999. That year may stick out to you due to the fact that gas is actually $1.21. We're about to celebrate the new millennium, and for you sports watchers, the Broncos beat the Falcons in Super Bowl 33. But what I'm going to tell you is that in 1999, a great act, not a great act, but in 1999, there was a guy named Brian Horns. All right, so Brian's mother's name was Dorothy, and they were Christians. And Brian loved Dorothy very much, and Dorothy loved Brian very much. And unfortunately, one night in 1999, Brian Horns was murdered by James Murphy. So James Murphy he was convicted to 40 years in jail. So his mom eventually, Brian's mom, Dorothy, eventually started coming about once a month and eventually more often because James had no family. She started visiting more frequently and actually decided to adopt James once he was released from prison because she forgave him because they agreed that that James was her son of Christ and that Dorothy was her mom of Christ. So Dorothy committed a great act of forgiveness. So forgiveness. Forgive. It's such a big word for only 7 letters. It's absolutely gigantic. It takes so long to do, but when you can forgive somebody, it does so much more. It's worth so much. It's worth the wait. But the only thing is, it takes the grace of God to forgive somebody. If I asked everybody in this room about forgiveness, I'm sure each and every one of you tell me about a case that you've had in the past where you forgive somebody or somebody has forgiven you. What makes it hard to forgive is a lack of trust and inability to forgive. But not forgiving can lead to some serious damage. What this leads to is the destruction of relationships when we cannot forgive. Mark 12:30 states, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength." This somewhat comes easier to some of us than the next verse. Mark 12:31 states, "The second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. There's no greater commandment than these." When we have the destruction of relationships and the unwillingness to forgive, it goes against the 2 most important commandments in the Bible. If you can't forgive somebody at work, bitterness eventually clouds up our vision so much we cannot even see our objective anymore. The only thing that this accomplishes is that it brings negativity and toxicity to your workplace. God does not want this of us. He loves us way too much to allow us to go down this path. You may ask, how do I forgive somebody? Well, number 1, what you have to do is have a desire. The Holy Spirit nags at us for wanting to forgive somebody. We don't feel right avoiding conflict. It leaves an uneasy sense of unfinished business in our lives. Almost like you started a project and you didn't finish it, which I've done a little bit. It'll continue to be hard if you don't forgive the other person for what they've wronged of you. But no matter what, in any circumstance, Jesus sends us to the cross. Everything he wants from us stems from the cross. Number 2, it takes hard work. It's not easy to forgive somebody who's wronged or crossed you. Accepting an apology over small things only happens sometimes. Even with that, it's still not easy to get over that bitterness feeling. People then start to second guess other people's motives. Then the wondering of sincerity occurs. Since we are all human, we always second guess the sincerity of others whenever they say they will do something different. Actions speak louder than words. It's really hard to let go of sin that others commit against us. It may be easy to ask others to forgive our debts, but it's not as easy for us to forgive our debtors. Matthew 6:12. What Jesus wants for us is to reflect his love and abundant willingness to forgive. He wants us to strive to forgive each other as freely as he did. But he also showed this on the cross, didn't he? See, everything leads back to the cross. Number 3, it takes grace. Not just human effort, but divine help by God's grace. We can be thankful for our salvation, which only comes by grace alone. But we still need God's grace daily. Just as Christ, by grace, forgave us, we can forgive others with the same amount of grace. Now I'll be the first to say forgiveness is hard work. While we need to seek and forgive it, we need God's grace to humble us to the point that we realize we are nothing without Jesus, and we will fail without his help. We also hold on to anger and resentment. We don't want to let go of these feelings because they make us feel better. But it just allows brokenness to get worse and worse and worse. The only person that can forgive us is Jesus. He is the only one that can give us the grace we need to forgive, as we have been forgiven. Also, forgiveness is like a heavy backpack. Each time it gets worse and worse, and you don't forgive somebody, or somebody doesn't forgive you, it just adds another book to your backpack. Imagine walking around wherever you go, not forgiving anybody. It just adds another book to your backpack until eventually you can't hold it anymore, you fall over. But when you do fall over, God's grace is there. And what God's grace does is he empties out every single book. God takes the backpack off of us and all the weight so that we can go out and share his truth. After all, John 8:32 states, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And the truth is set in the cross. Amen.